Hello, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us today as we walk through the new events calendar. Now, big question is why did we move away from this versus the old Google Calendar? Well, we've been looking for the Holy Grail, and in terms of calendar tools, and this appears to be it because we have moved over to the BlackPug system, which houses all of our registrations and summer camp registrations and event registrations and things of that nature. So many of you are going to be familiar with that part of it. But what we're going to show you today is the reason we moved over to this is that we realized we can actually use the system for things like just regular meetings and such. So you can have district meetings and deadlines and all that kind of stuff. And so what's really great is that you'll be able to use it for your program planning for your scout unit. So if your scouts BSA, you can print out this calendar we're going to show you. And what's really great is that then your scouts can actually look at the calendar for up to 18 months out and see what the heck's going on around the council. And for you folks in packs and dens, you'll be able to see it too. And for you and folks in other scout units, you'll be able to see everything at least 18 months out. Now, this is a bit of a transition in terms of we're going to try and work together with all the districts and whatnot to really think ahead, actually 2 years ahead, so that you can really plan out and expect to see what's happening, even if some things are just saved the dates like camporees 2 years from now and things like that. But at least from your program planning purposes, you'll be able to see that and plan accordingly. So I'm really excited about that as a scoutmaster myself. So let's dive in here. For those of you who are not already on this page and you're watching it on YouTube, what you do is just go to cpcscouting.org and then you roll over events and event calendar, and that takes you to this page. This page may change a little bit based on when you watch this because we're doing this freshy fresh right now and before even launching it. So you're getting the preview of it, but it'll launch here rather quickly. But anyway, suffice it to say is that all you have to do is go to this page and you'll see visit and subscribe to the new calendar. And what that does is takes you to this page on BlackPug, and it shows, upcoming events and whatnot. And of course, you know that you can click on these and see the details. Now, here's really the thing we're going to focus on today is how the heck do you use this for your program planning purposes? Well, what you do is you actually click on this month, or you can click on a list, but we're going to look at it from a month perspective because everybody wants to see, like, how does this work in a calendar? How do I use this for planning, 6 months out and seeing what's available? Well, here's what's really great about this is you could subscribe to the full calendar. You can click on this little subscribe button and it pops up this little pop-up and it says, okay, there's the calendar feed URL. And then it says you can subscribe to it from Google, Yahoo, Outlook, just have the link for it or an RSS feed. Now, what I'm going to show you here today, however, is you can get more granular on this. You can click on these little categories here. So let's say you are a district chair or want to see just what's going on in your district. You can click on district and you can just click on anything that is, if you're Pacific Shores or whatever it is, you can click on that and then you click apply filter and it'll just show you things that have to do with your district and the council stuff. So, but here for our program planning purposes, what we also want to look at here is if I click on categories, which I just did, you have all these categories that you can just look at and print out, or you could subscribe to them. Because what happens is, let's just say if I click on Alumni Association, what it actually does is I can actually click on that and then I can say apply filter. There won't be a lot in this yet today, but it's a good example of you can see how clear it is. So then you can see, oh, we've got some holidays and stuff in there, but you could subscribe just to the Alumni Association calendar, which will have events in there shortly. But you can see that it actually creates its own feed here. If you scope in and look at that URL here, it actually changes it. And you can subscribe just to that. Now, what does this mean for you in a Cub Scout pack, let's just say? So I click on categories, and I'm going to uncheck this box from alumni, and I'm going to look at program Cub Scouts right there. Now, we had to list this in alphabetical order, so it's a little funky in that regard, but we see program Cub Scouts, program exploring, program Order of the Arrow, all of that stuff. We're trying to come up with these categories, working with our volunteer teams to devise the right categories that you might want to subscribe to. So what's cool is that you can actually subscribe to any of these pieces here. If you just want to see, like, oh, what's going on with outdoor programs, for instance, so you could just click on that and see what's available over the next actually 18 months. It's pretty great. So, but in this case, let's go to program Cub Scouts. Okay, click on this, and then I click on apply filter. Now it shows me now all of the things that are happening that are Cub Scout oriented. Now, of course, this has to do with Cub Scouts across the way here, so the entire all the districts and all that will be in here. But now we can zoom across here. We can scroll around. What's also great is we do have some little red text here when there are deadlines. We're working on that too, where we can, just give you that heads up, those reminders that there are certain deadlines, whether it's for summer camp or camp for all goals, things like that, whatever it is. And so you can click across and see these. Now, here's what's really great. So remember, I've actually looked at, and we're looking at these Cub Scout calendar. And what I can do is now, because you can see Butte Creek and all of that in here, I can click subscribe. It pops up that URL, that unique URL there, and I click on Google or Yahoo or Outlook, or just get the link, however you want to do it, and you can subscribe to it. What it does is it actually gives you a little description here. You can see open Google Calendar. Second step is go to other calendars and click the plus sign to the right of it, then select from URL, and you'll actually paste this URL. This is a specific URL specific for our Cub Scout calendar, and you paste it right there into your Google Calendar. So that's pretty neat in terms of being able to subscribe to it. But here's the added bonus is you can click on the little print button here, little tiny print. Click on this, and what will happen is you can choose how many months to print. You can choose up to 18 months out, and you can include meetings and notices if you want, which is the little red stuff up there, but you do want to include it because sometimes the meetings and notices can be things like roundtables and stuff like that you're actually not going to have to register for, but you want to know when those are. And then you click print. Okay, and what this does is it spits out, woohoo, an entire calendar for the next 18 months of all the Cub Scout stuff. And so what's great is you could work with your families and say, hey, here's the calendar for the next 18 months. Well, what do we want to do? And so you can kind of scroll through it, poke around, and see. You could even use it and fill it all out with your stuff, which is really, really great. So it's a nice tool that lets you just subscribe or even just print out individual calendars based on those categories. So let's just take a look at those categories one more time here, just so you can see them here. We can clear this filter out. It'll spit out then have everything in here, and we can look at those categories. So you have everything from trainings and meetings, and of course, like we said, the different programs. You've got alumni association stuff, awards and recognition things, and we have some other categories that we're working on adding. So like family fun, what does that mean? Well, we're working on stuff like that with our volunteers to create some family fun events. So you'll see that in here as well. And so anyway, so you can subscribe to any of those pieces, and it will then pop up in your Google Calendar, your Yahoo Calendar, Outlook, whatever you want to subscribe to. I'm not going to go over how you do this on the phone because the phones just act a little bit differently. But if you've subscribed to anything on an iPhone or a Google phone, an Android phone, you know likely how to do it. It'll walk you through that process of doing this on the phone. I just had to set it out on my iPhone, actually, and it works great. You just go right into, I use the Apple calendar, and it's super simple to subscribe just to Scouts BSA stuff in my case. So anyway, that's how this all works. I hope that is helpful to you. We are, again, working really hard to fill the calendar full of activities and events, and this will just improve over time. So what's nice is that it is always live, if you will, and so you can always, print this out really at any time to look, 18 months out. So we hope this is helpful to you in terms of your program planning, and we will have more on this soon as well. And also, of course, watch your Compass Points email newsletter and the website, and listen to the podcast to get the latest and greatest news updates for things that are happening right now, and things that we want to remind you about to make sure that you get that you register for those events and activities and things of that nature. All right, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us, and hope this is helpful. And reach out anytime at info@cpcscouting.org if you have questions, and we'll make sure that the right person gets the answers to you. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.